You ever noticed how the most uncomfortable family drama is never the loud kind? It's the quiet stuff, the distance, the missing faces and photos. That's exactly what's going on here. So let's rewind a bit, because Brooklyn Beckham didn't grow up like the rest of us. From day one, his life came with cameras attached. His dad is David Beckham, a football legend whose name still carries weight decades later. His mom is Victoria Beckham, who went from pop star to running a serious fashion empire. Together, they didn't just raise kids, they built an image, stylish, close-knit, unshakable. The kind of family that made people believe fame didn't mess things up. Then Brooklyn meets Nicola Peltz in early 2019, and things start feeling different. Not bad, just different. This wasn't a slow, cautious relationship. It was intense, right out of the gate. The kind where they're always together, finishing each other's sentences, and everyone around them can tell this isn't casual. Nicola comes from money too, but her family energy is different. Big family, very close, very protective. Less about public image, more about emotional loyalty. At first, it actually works. Nicola isn't treated like an outsider at all. She's everywhere with the Beckhams. Front row at fashion shows, on vacations, and family moments that feel genuinely warm. Brooklyn's younger siblings seem to really like her, especially Harper, who looks like she's thrilled to have an older sister figure around. From the outside, it feels easy, natural. So when Brooklyn proposes in 2020, nobody's shocked. It feels like the next obvious step. But here's where things quietly start getting complicated. Not with drama, with expectations. The kind nobody says out loud because they assume everyone's on the same page. Wedding planning has a way of exposing those assumptions. And let's be honest for a second. When your future mother-in-law is Victoria Beckham, people expect certain moments to mean more than usual. One of those moments was the wedding dress. Not because anyone demanded control, but because symbolism matters in families built on legacy. Nicola choosing a different designer wasn't wrong, but it did change the emotional temperature. Sometimes things don't need to be argued about to still leave a mark. Fast forward to April 2022. The wedding itself is beautiful. It's held at the Peltz family estate in Palm Beach, blends traditions, looks intimate and meaningful. If the story ended there, nobody would be dissecting this. But then comes the reception, a speech, a moment meant to be complimentary that ends up shifting attention in a way no bride wants on her wedding day. No one planned to hurt anyone. That's important, but weddings are emotional pressure cookers. According to reports, Nicola is devastated and leaves in tears, feeling embarrassed and overshadowed. And once a moment like that hits, it doesn't just disappear, especially if there were already feelings sitting under the surface. After that, people close to the situation say things feel off, not explosive, just cooler. Conversations become careful. That easy closeness from before doesn't quite come back. And then comes the part everyone notices, the after. Brooklyn starts showing up less at family events. Social media, which used to show a united front, suddenly looks selective, carefully cropped. Nicola seems more rooted in her own family, surrounded by people who very clearly have her back. Brooklyn, now a husband, seems to shift his emotional center toward his marriage, which, honestly, is normal, but it's not always easy for parents to accept. Now, here's where this story stops being an awkward wedding drama and starts feeling serious. More recently, the distance has reportedly grown. Nicola has removed posts connected to the Beckham family. Brooklyn is said to have blocked some family members online. Communication is rumored to be extremely limited, with boundaries so firm that even private attempts to reconnect haven't gone anywhere. There have been invitations, quiet outreach, and so far, no visible change. At this point, this isn't about a dress or a speech. This is about a hurt that never got properly addressed. And that's what makes it uncomfortable to watch, because there's no clear villain here. Just people who feel wounded and don't know how to meet in the middle anymore. Brooklyn is stuck in a position a lot of people can relate to. Being a son and a husband at the same time isn't easy. Choosing your partner doesn't mean rejecting your parents, but it can feel that way from the other side. Nicola, on the other hand, seems to have drawn firm boundaries and leaned into the family that makes her feel protected. Strip away the money, the fame, the designer names, and this story becomes very human. Miscommunication, expectations that were never said out loud. Silence becomes easier than having hard conversations. Fame just puts all of that under a microscope. Right now, there's no neat ending, no public reconciliation, just space. Maybe that space is temporary. Maybe conversations are happening privately. Or maybe this is simply what redefining boundaries looks like when you grow up with the world watching. Either way, it's a reminder that even the most polished families are still human behind closed doors. And sometimes, the loudest drama is the kind nobody ever talks about. If this felt familiar at all, like that awkward tension in a family group chat where nobody's arguing but nobody's talking either, tap like, tell me what you think in the comments, and subscribe so we can keep breaking these stories down together.